The first item we're going to work with within Synergy is going to be some global settings changes. You do that underneath your Gradebook menu here under Gradebook Setup. When I click on that, it's going to bring me to a screen that has a lot of different options here. And you can kind of sort through these, but I have determined just a few of these that you may want to change depending on how it is you grade your classes. The first screen here allows you to do category weighting. They call it assignment type, but essentially this is breaking your different assignments into categories and assigning them a weight if you do weighted grading. I don't do weighted grading, so I have left these all as 0 within here. If you do weighted grading, you're going to want to assign it to either all your classes or your individual classes, and then you'll need to click Update to save your new changes. Under Gradebook Settings, I click here. There are really only 2 things I've worked with on here. One of them is determining whether or not I want to have my grades automatically rounded and to how many decimal places. On our old system, it was rounded to 2 decimal places. And then down here under class notifications, I've turned on 2 different notifications. One is when the students have been added, and another one has to do with grading. Underneath class settings, the next tab up here in the top right, these have to do with a lot of different settings, but really the only one that I've worked with on here is Google Classroom and whether or not you want this to sync. Now, for distance learning, we have all been instructed to make sure that we have at least synced our student roster. So I'm going to take a look at one of my periods where I only have synced with my student roster. And to do that and to turn that on, you click on Edit Row. And it now allows you to either enable or disable Google Classroom. And I have it enabled here. And then at a minimum, you need to sync your student roster, which will create a Google Classroom and then populate that with your students. To sync assignments and scores is sort of a next level thing, which I will talk about at the end of this video. For now, I'm going to leave these off before I talk about that. And then the rest of these different settings I have not touched. Up here at the top, you're going to want to make sure that you click Save if there were any changes. And since I didn't change anything, I have no save button, but you're going to want to go ahead and update that. The next one is assignment types. Assignment types is basically categories, and you have the ability to adjust these or add different assignment types. You can see I added one here, and you can simply click the new button over on the right side and type in what your new category is, where it is you want it in the row. That's what sequence is. I usually just click yes and no on these, and then you can assign it a color if you like, and that will just show up in your overall list as far as different categories or assignment types. Gradebook comments are grade codes that we have used in the past, and you can see there are a lot of district grade codes that are set up for you, including the Z grade or absent symbol. One that is missing is the X or the yes and the no. So I've actually added those to my different comments. To add one, I did not add a no yet here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on New in the top right corner. It's going to pop up and it's going to ask me what it wants me to name that one. I'm just going to call it no. I want that to go at the bottom right after yes. So I'm going to sequence it with a 10. Determine if you want it to have a score value. So for example, 0 and 0 unexcused calculates itself as a 0. I'm going to leave that one empty because I don't want no to be calculated into their grade. Same thing with penalty and missing mark. So when I pull up missing work, do I want it to show up and be counted as one of the missing items? So I'm going to make it so that a no does show up as a missing item, but it really depends on how you use yes and no. And then what code do you want it to use? I'm just going to use a simple N. And then the last thing is, after I type in a score, if I do fill in with a score, do I want it to be replaced or do I want that comment to stay there? I'm going to actually have this one be replaced. And then when I have chosen my different settings, I'm going to go ahead and click Insert. Now, how you set up these comment codes or these gradebook comments is up to you, but it's important to just kind of realize what these are. And if there's something you need to change, you can click on the little edit button over here on the left side and make adjustments to the ones that you have set up. Within here, I have not worked with scoring rubrics, but those are your basic global setups. The only thing that you'll really ever come back to on here, I have found, is class settings when you start working with your different Google settings and your Google Sync settings. Otherwise, once you have set this up, it should work for you the way that you would like.